And we are live. Hello there. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Let's Talk Fishing Podcast. The Let's Talk Fishing Podcast, brought to you by Grant Rods, the American Bass Club, and of course, Crusher Lures. With me tonight, I have a guy who's fishing the second year of the National Professional Fishing League. He just finished up a tournament on Saginaw Bay. I cannot wait to hear about that. Saginaw Bay is like I can't even describe it, man. It's like the size of Lake St. Clair, but with a quarter of the boats and all of the waves. But anyways, I have none other than Kevin Martin, professional bass angler from Ohio. How are you doing tonight, Kevin?
Good. I'm doing well. Yeah, I actually that was a pretty fun event up there, Jay. It was.
I bet it was.
Yeah, it was. So, like you said, Saginaw Bay is huge. You know, it's like a Lake St. Clair, almost two of them you can put inside. Yeah. And but I actually, spent the first day of practice out there looking for those elusive brown fish, because that's actually what I love to chase, is the smallmouth. And I just never ran into them.
Oh no!
I found a few, but I looked ahead at the weather, and I saw that it's going to blow, and if I didn't, a good group of them to go to, I probably wasn't going to risk it. And I never did run.
If you have a northeast wind, that can get hairy.
Oh yeah, for sure. It can.
I used to live. I was stationed up in Oscoda, and I was stationed on Lake St. Clair.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez. I mean, you have the fury of Lake Huron coming in on you.
Yeah, it can get really nasty. We actually went up there before cutoff and pre-practiced it, and it was so you just couldn't move around out there. You could, if you had a school of fish or something to go to, I mean, you could have got to them, but it was like you just couldn't. And you think, well, I'll run over here and check this point, and you look on your map, and it's 10 miles. To get to it. So it's a big place. But anyway, I ended up just fishing that tournament, the whole entire tournament, in the river, in the Saginaw River.
Saginaw River, okay. There's going to be some smallmouth in there too.
Oh, there is. There definitely is some smallmouth in there. I actually caught some in there in pre-practice, and I know they live in there too as well. But I was actually fishing, south of takeoff, going south in the river, and I found just a big bay in there that that was the water was actually clearer in there than in that bay than pretty much anything else I saw. Had a lot of great, and that's actually spending all 3 days of the tournament was in that bay.
Were there a lot of other boats in that bay, Kevin?
There actually was. I think there was 4 for sure, if not 5 guys in the top 10 fishing in that bay. Yeah, at least 4 that I know of for sure.
Wow. So this must have been the Saginaw River is a pretty big river.
It is, and it was a big bay. I mean, it wasn't like, we weren't like right on top of each other the whole time. Each guy kind of had their own deal they were doing, and pretty much everybody respected that. We kind of stayed off each other pretty well, and it worked out well for all of us, really.
Because I've spent quite a bit of time in Saginaw. There's the Saginaw River, and then is that where you were going out of, is Saginaw?
Yeah, we actually went out of Saginaw. Because
there's also a Tittabawassee River.
Yeah.
And I have caught smallmouth in the Tittabawassee River too, from the shore.
Right.
Because when you're enlisted in the Air Force, you don't have a bass boat.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
My commander had one, but I wasn't an E5.
Oh,
I was. No, I wasn't an 05 like him.
Yeah.
I was an E3, and I have a couple of the pay stubs that they gave me. I cannot believe I controlled air traffic for that. Wow.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, I I literally just, like I said, I spent the entire tournament in that bay, and like
All 3 days?
the first day of the tournament when we took off, I actually didn't even start there. I actually went and fished a couple main river places, and didn't pick up anything. So I thought, well, I'm gonna go down there and when I fish a tournament, I try to stay open minded. There's
Sure.
not, I don't normally, never do I have got to hurry up and get to this certain spot. And usually when I do, it never works out, so
Sure.
I just went up in that bay and basically just started fishing. And I had some bites in there in practice. But I didn't really know what was in there, and I actually ran across this little stretch of grass. It was probably, I don't know, 100 yards long, and it was kind of in the center of that bay, and it was just a little bit thicker grass. The growth of it was than everything else in there, and it seemed to have the fish kind of congregated in that little, that 100-yard stretch right there pretty well. And like I said, of course you caught pike. I caught pike. I caught walleye. I caught grinnell, and I caught bass. I mean, everything in the world was in that bay. So you knew there was. When you catch walleye in 1.5 feet of water, there's a lot of bait in there.
1.5 feet of water.
It was literally 1.5 feet deep, and I was catching walleye.
I've caught spawning walleyes. I've caught walleyes at night in 1.5 feet of water. I've caught spawning walleyes in 1.5 feet of water. And I've caught a lot of walleyes. I fished probably just about as many walleye tournaments as I fished bass tournaments.
Right.
It's like you said, it's not something that happens all the time.
No, for sure not.
Particularly when there's a lot of deep water and close by.
Yeah, I actually couldn't believe that those walleye were up in there.
I mean, were the waves breaking into it?
No, it was calm in there.
Calm. It was calm. It was clear water, and you were catching walleyes in 1.5 feet of water.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I believe you, but that's unbelievable.
And I actually wasn't the only guy in there that was catching them. One other guy, he was within talking distance of me one time, and he caught a huge one, and he was like, dude, this is a walleye. I said, I know. I said, it's crazy that they're in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Please don't think I don't believe you. That's just crazy.
Right. It is.
There had to have been a lot of.
There's a lot of bait in there. That's what it was. That's what was pulling everything in. There was a lot of bait fish in there, and that's why all pike and grinnell and everything was in there.
Must have been some great grass there,
Yeah. So basically, what I had picked up on from practice to the tournament and during the tournament, the water in there, like I said, it was only 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep, and where I was fishing, actually the whole entire bay was like that, but it would raise or lower with the wind. You know how the wind will suck it out or push it in. Well, it was doing that, and it might only be 6 inches, but 6 inches in 18 inches of water means a lot, so
sure does.
I felt like when the water would actually drop in there, that it kind of pushed the fish to me, like out in the center of that bay. Mm-hmm. And I also felt like maybe when the water, came up, that might disperse them a little bit away from me towards the shorelines a little bit.
Wow. Well, let's talk presentations.
Well, so I was throwing actually I have my setups right here. Of every bass I weighed in, I've actually got my setups of what I was throwing and everything. So I was actually throwing, most of my bass I weighed in was on this. It's a Big Daddy Baits buzz bait, and you'll see that it's got that hair. It's like
that's a hair, yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty unique.
It's like a little different.
In the water, you know how a bucktail does in the water.
Absolutely.
And it really makes a different looking.
Did you put some plastic on the back of that?
No, I literally threw it just like you see it, like this.
That's old school, man. That is old school right there.
And that's
In fact,
I
a
caught
lot of the northern
that.
guys would, a lot of the guys from up north would not throw that because that's Pike and Muskie City right there.
Oh, and actually I caught several pike on it, but the bass really liked it. And I don't know if you can see, but like the head, you can see how the paint is kind of worn off of the head, um, where that it's actually it hits the head. You can
Is
kind
that
of
by design, Kevin?
yeah. It actually you can spread it out to where it'll just squeak, or you can actually have it as a head knocker. And the way I was using it was to where it actually hits the head, and it was just a unique sound, I guess, that they hadn't heard much of, but they seemed to react to it really well. And like I said, that's most of the bass that my better quality fish was coming on that Big Daddy buzzbait.
When I was growing up, if you just use that as a jig, I mean, without the without the buzzbait part of it,
Yeah.
and you put a white light like worm on it, that was called the bucktail jig.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that thing was sold. I mean, it's worth a lot of money nowadays. I used to have 5 of them in my dad's tackle box, but of course, me being a kid, I took them out and used them. But that's old school, man. I mean, that I like I like the hair like that because geez, I'm never gonna get used to this.
Right.
It pulsates in the water like this.
It does.
The
Yeah.
hair does much better than any kind of plastics.
Yeah.
A skirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Now, who makes that?
Definitely a different, unique look. And I throw it on a Shimano Corrado DC. All my reels are Shimano Corrado DCs, and this one is actually an 8.5-1. And all my rods are G Loomis.
Wow.
I was actually throwing this one on just a medium heavy with a fast tip. And I throw Seaguar line, and I was just throwing 40-pound Seaguar braided line, and pretty simple, top water setup.
You didn't have a leader on that?
No, it's straight braid. Yeah.
Okay.
Straight braid.
I was thinking when you were talking about, it's pretty clear water where you might have had a fluoro leader on it.
Right. No, this top water, I was just throwing, straight. I literally just took this out of the boat tonight.
Yeah. Well,
still set up from the tournament. And
the way everything's stained down here in the swamp, I throw a lot of straight braid, so I get it.
Right.
You just have to have a little softer tip,
Right. And then probably the bait I caught the next most fish on, I would say. I caught a lot of bass on this. This is a Brazalo custom lures. It's actually a 3/8 ounce swim jig.
Okay.
And I was literally just swimming it. I mean, reeling it. And I would pump it a little bit, like in the holes of the grass and stuff. When the sun was out, you could actually see where the holes were. But if it was cloudy or windy, you couldn't really even see the holes. So I threw that a lot, and I caught a lot of fish on it and weighed some fish on that, every day.
You were just doing a do nothing retrieve, throwing you out there and bringing that thing in.
Just winding it in. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I literally was just literally winding it in, and I was throwing it on a same thing, Shimano Corrado on a 7-1 medium heavy, and straight braid again, straight to the bait. I'm throwing 40-pound Seaguar braid straight to the bait.
Wow.
And I caught several on that. The second and third day, when the water actually came up in there, and I was telling you, I went to the bank. Well, what I did was, when you get so far to the bank in there, you actually run into slop and pads and things like that. And that's when I would go to the frog. This is just a Scum Frog brand, and I really like this brand frog. It's the way the hooks are designed on it, and it's an extremely soft bodied frog. And it just seems like I personally get a lot better hookup ratio. And I'm definitely wouldn't say I'm a great frog fisherman, but I did catch some nice, actually my biggest fish the final day came on this frog.
Did you try any punching?
I'm sorry.
Did you try any punching in that scum?
I did. I actually have a rod set up here. I'm going to show you that
Okay.
I was flipping grass with. Now I didn't actually punch the slop, but I did. I actually did flip a lot. Just in those clumps and stuff out in the middle, I actually flipped a lot. And the way my flipping setup is I actually flip grass a lot with the Tokyo rig. And it's
Wow.
yeah, that's how I like to do it. I mean, and you see how you can kind of see how it sets up.
Oh yeah, I like
like
the Tokyo rig.
yeah, it's like a half-ounce Woo tungsten,
Yeah.
tungsten sinker, and basically just a 4/0 hook, and I was flipping the Mud Puppy Custom Lures Trash Possum. Trash Possum is the name of this. It's a kind of a new design bait that he just came out with that really works well. I mean, it's got the little kickers on the feet and stuff that you can kind of tell there.
Wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, it really works well. I really like that flipping setup.
And I see you got some kind of a leader right there.
Yeah, actually, my flipping setup. So I do have. So what I'll actually show you guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you see that I got 50-pound braid, and then I've got a 20-pound fluoro leader. Is what I do, and it's not a real long leader. I mean, it's only a 3 feet.
3 feet. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just that's how I like to flip grass is with that, especially because it's clear. So I like to flip that fluoro leader in that grass, and again, just a Shimano Corrado DC and a 7.5 Loomis heavy, flipping stick. Just pretty basic grass fishing. Really.
So you're flipping out there, and you're not punching. You're
Right.
actually flipping out.
I'm actually flipping. That grass that I was flipping, it'd be like clumps of it, and I just pitch over and let it go down into the clump or into the hole next to it or something. I was just kind of, I'd pitch a bunch and then raise my power poles up and move and pole down again and pitch another section. And I did catch a couple quality fish doing that about each day, really. But that's basically those 4 rods right there. I weighed every bass on in that tournament. Was on one of those 4 rods.
So did anybody make it out into the lake and fish for smallmouth?
Oh yeah. Actually, I finished 3rd place. And
3rd place.
Yeah, I finished 3rd.
Congratulations. Jeez.
And I think the guy that won and the guy that was I don't know this for certain, but the guy that won and the guy that was in 2nd, both were fishing out in the bay, smallmouth fishing. Yeah. So, and I was literally like 1.5 pounds off the lead at the end of the tournament. This after day 2, I was in 3rd, and I was 1.5 pounds off the lead, and then after day 3, it was almost the exact same. I was in 3rd and 1.5 pounds off the lead. I just needed that kicker bite, and that 5.5 pound bite, and I never did get it. That would have actually separated me from the other guys.
That would have.
But that's fishing. I didn't get it, and I'm okay with that. I was really happy to finish where I did.
Did you get to do any drop shotting?
I didn't. I actually did a little bit in practice, but literally, dude, I never fished any. Like all my fishing was done up in the river during the tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, and I 90% after that day 1 catch, I went straight to that bay, day 2 and day 3.
I think you made the right decision if you came
Yeah.
in 3rd. You were in scoring position.
Right.
That's, I mean, the only reason I ask is because I like to drop shot.
Oh, I definitely do too. I really like the smallmouth fish. That's actually my favorite type of bass to catch. But I just, like I said, I at that particular tournament, I didn't get on them. But
No,
we have one coming up in end of August at Sandusky Bay in Lake Erie. So and that's I'm actually from Ohio, so I've fished
sure.
up Lake Erie quite a bit, and I'm really looking forward to that one. And I won't be fishing for largemouth up there unless hard. But
I guess you never know. You probably thought you weren't going to be fishing for largemouth on Saginaw Bay. I
it,
wouldn't have thought you were going to fish for largemouth. I mean, even in the Saginaw River, I thought you'd have gone upstream, and
right, yeah,
if you'd gone upstream to the first dam, I bet you would have caught some.
yeah.
Um, does Corey Null still fish the MPFL?
I don't know for sure. I don't know a lot of the guys. I don't know. This
Yeah,
is
there's only about 125 of them. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, there's a few of them I don't know. This is actually my first year on the NPFL circuit.
sure.
I fished the Major League Fishing Pro circuit. The 2 years prior to that. So
Sure.
I'm just getting familiar with this with the league and the guys, and I really like it. I mean, it's a nice ran league, and seems like overall good group of guys.
I'm sure. I haven't heard anything bad about it.
Right. Yeah.
The guys who fished it last year are just really tight.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've got a good group of travel buddies that I travel with. There's about 6 of us that we usually get a house and rent a house and stay together. So that makes it fun.
That would be fun, man. Out there barbecuing
Oh yeah, for sure.
every night. Even if you don't get off the water till 6, get everything ready. And 8, 9 o'clock. Still,
Yeah,
man, throw some burgers on the grill, man.
yeah, for sure. And we do. Yeah.
Sit
And,
around, have a soda. I'm not going to drink beer night before a tournament. I'll tell you that. No, that
yeah,
happened one time when I was like 25 years old. It'll never happen again.
yeah, yeah.
Very costly mistake. I think a lot of people made that mistake once,
Oh, for sure. I
and the
think.
dumb ones make it a lot of times.
Yeah.
So where else? Are you going to be going this year?
So we, like I said, we're going to Erie, and then our last one for the MPFL is at Kissimmee Chain in Florida.
Ooh, when's that?
That's in like the second week in November. So that'll be kind of interesting to go down there in Florida. And I've never fished down there that time of year. All my time in Florida has been spent like early, in
Early, like that. That's a January, February thing most of the time, isn't it?
yeah. So it'll be kind of cool to go down there. And then of course I'm going to fish the American Bass Club, team.
Sure.
And for sure I'm going to fish Cumberland, because that's actually the closest one to me. I mean, it's 4
Oh yeah,
hours.
that's just a little bit south of you, huh?
That's like 3.5, 4 hours for me. So I'm definitely going to plan on fishing that one. And
And what about the Northern qualifier in October?
yeah, I really like that Northern qualifier as well. So I may end up fishing a couple of them.
You know what? Them smallmouth bass will be in the river in October.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can't tell you how many times in Michigan, in the state of Michigan, I caught quality smallmouth.
Yeah,
In fact, not too far away from you. I was up there, in Oscoda,
yeah,
fishing
yeah,
those rivers up there. The Au the Van Etten, Alpena River.
yeah.
A bunch of those up there. I fished, and I caught big smallmouth.
Oh yeah.
If I wasn't deer hunting in October, I was smallmouth bass fishing. In the last year I was in the Air Force, I think I took that whole month off just so I could it was my last year up there.
Right. That's
Too much going on. But the American Bass Club, guys, the American Bass Club, let's talk about that.
yeah. So the American Bass Club is something that I personally am really looking forward to. It's basically a 5 fish format, like most all of us are used to fishing, but it's a team tournament, and I'm like super stoked about that team deal because it's going to be fun. The tournaments I fish and have fished for the last 3 years. They're individual tournaments. You go out and you're not allowed to practice with nobody. You're not allowed to share any information. You're not allowed to basically you can't talk fishing or share information with anybody about any of these tournaments because it's in the rules to say that. And I always kid around and tell everybody, but for real, it takes some of the fun out of it. You can't go out with your buddies and just go fishing, and enjoy it. And I feel like that American Bass Club deal is going to be, super fun. You got your buddy in the boat with you all day, and you go out and practice for a couple of days before the tournament with your buddies, and I just think it's going to be a really good deal. And Dan, I know personally, that's actually running the whole thing, and he's I've been in the boat with him before, and an excellent person with a good work ethic, and I feel like he's going to make it work, and it'll be a really well ran organization.
What I like about it is $1,800 entry fee, $100,000 first prize, pay out 40 places.
Yeah.
And then the top 40, they advance to the championship. Then you have a chance. You're fishing for $250,000.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's for $2,000. I think the entries are 2,000, but for $2,000,
you're right. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I made that. It's 1,800 for the Bassmasters fee.
But for 2,000, I mean, and literally, when you're splitting that two ways, it's only 1,000. I mean, I say that only, but I'm used to paying $5,000 entry fees. So
well, but like I just said, I did flub that, and I flubbed it big time. But also, that's a good comparison. If you're going to fish as a pro, the Bassmaster Opens, it's $1,800, and like you said, it's just for you.
Yes, correct, and you get to split $1,000 a piece to go fish for $100,000. I mean, that's a big deal, really is, and get paid. 40 places. The 40th place is going to get paid. So I think it's a really good opportunity for and I'm not a full-time pro. I own a construction company. My wife and I does, and I work as well as fish, and especially gives guys opportunities that that work the 9 to 5 jobs, or the jobs that you can't get a lot of vacation time, or that doesn't allow you to fish some of these other tournaments. It gives those type of people like me and them the opportunity to fish for $100,000.
That's interesting. And let me run this down real quick. The Northern Qualifier is going to be in Saginaw Bay, Michigan. That's on October 22nd to October 23rd of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Eastern Qualifier is in St. Lawrence River. I believe you talked about this, Messina, New York, July 30th through July 31st. Then there's going to be the Central Qualifier, which you already talked about too. That's in Lake Cumberland. That's close. That's that's right over there in Burnside, Kentucky. Yeah. That's September 10th.
Yeah.
And September 11th.
That's going to be a fun one.
And of course, I really want to talk about this. And I know I already mentioned it, but guys, I want to burn this into your memories. The Northern Qualifier, Saginaw Bay, Michigan, guys. Saginaw Bay, Michigan, right there in Independence Park Boat Launch. That's right in Bay City, Michigan. It's a quad. It's a tri-cities there. Saginaw Bay City, Midland. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could go to that one.
That's going to be a blast.
Then, of course, there's the Western qualifier, which is going to take. That's in Grand Lake. That's going to be in December 3rd and December 4th. Then there's a Southern qualifier. That was the one I was forgetting because I didn't do these in order.
Right.
That's going to be on Okeechobee. I mean, what a fun. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Okeechobee in November. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I've been down to Okeechobee in January and Okeechobee in February.
Right.
In fact, I went down there and did some shiner fishing once, and well,
I'll actually have to check the dates on that Okeechobee when I'm going to be in Florida already. I might just have to run over or fish it on the way or on the way home, you know, since I'm going to be down there already for the MPFL.
Well, that's the 12th and the 13th.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, the reason I didn't like shiner fishing is because it takes away the surprise.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you see that going down, you know, and you got to reel down. Of course, you don't know if it's going to be a 12-incher or a 12-pounder.
Yes.
There's a surprise, but also when you're reeling down and you have a 12-inch worm on. I've caught a couple of 2-pounders on 12-inch worms, but not many. Most of them 4 pound plus, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Particularly when you're fishing in Okeechobee. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt.
Boy, I can't even talk. I'm excited. There are some really big fish places there.
Oh, definitely.
And I know that tournament fishing is not about big fish. It's about getting 5 quality fish. But my goodness.
I think all the lakes that they've chosen for these stops are going to be good lakes. I think they're going to be a really good turnout at these lakes, fish wise. You know, I think they're going to catch a lot of fish.
I think so too. You know, that's one heck of a schedule. That's going to be. I mean, the St. Lawrence River. There's another place.
Oh,
big smallmouth.
That's one of my favorite places. That's one of my favorite lakes to fish is or rivers. You know, the St. Lawrence River is. I absolutely love it up there.
And you talk about drop shotting, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I drop shotted up 27. Well, 5 for 27, 2 or 3 up there in a tournament. Actually, it was actually the second day of a Toyota series up there last year. This was the best bag I ever weighed in a tournament. Of course, I didn't. The day one, that was actually day 2. Day 1, I didn't catch them, so it didn't really matter, but it was fun.
Well, it mattered. You got some good points.
Oh yeah.
Now, what were you drop shotting with?
I was actually drop shotting a two baits. Actually, the Mud Puppy Custom Lures bait. It's actually a new bait that we designed. Robin he designed it, and we're going to call it the Gogalizer, and that was one. And then I also drop shotted a Max Scent flatworm. You know,
flatworm
that I caught them all on. Yeah.
Kind of like the notorious Berkeley flatworm.
Yeah, that's what it was. A Berkeley Max Scent flatworm, and then the Mud Lures bait. Both of those, I caught them really well on up there.
Did you get the Ned rig up there at all?
I did. I caught a few on Ned rig up there. I like a Ned rig up there. It just depends on where you're at in the river because of the current, you know, as if you can even Ned rig down or not, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, that's literally one of my favorite places in the world to fish. It's up there at the St. Lawrence River.
Wow, and you have fished at all of the great. Have you ever fished Green Bay?
You know, I never have. I never have fished.
So you fished most of the great smallmouth waters. I mean, Oneida.
Oh yeah. Champlain.
St. Lawrence River, Champlain.
I like Champlain. I like that lake really well. You can go catch largemouth or smallmouth there.
Obviously, you can do that in Saginaw Bay too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I
You
think
just taught me that.
the largemouth are, they kind of surprised everybody up there.
Well, they saved a lot of you guys' tournament, it sounds like.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
third,
Yeah.
guys, I want to drive this idea home. This is something that's very unusually. I mean, I'm going to call you Brock Mosley because Brock Mosley came in third. I believe that it was on Lake Ontario.
It was St. Lawrence River. Yeah.
St. Lawrence River, but it was right next to Lake Ontario because most of the field went out into the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah.
Brock Mosley stays close to the boat launch, scores a third on largemouth, just like you did.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. You guys are just showing them, man, hey, I did something different. Look what I did.
Right.
That is incredible. I mean, I'm constantly surprised by guys like you two. I mean, Brock Mosley did it on a chatterbait with a Zako.
Yeah.
And if I know Brock, he was throwing that at 60 miles an hour.
Oh,
while
yeah.
the boat was going 40. He's incredible, man. He's incredible. I could have skied behind him. Me, 300-pound me, Gee, that is incredible. I mean, I'd love to see Kevin. I got to give that to you, man. 2 thumbs up. You get the Badass of the Week award.
Thank you.
That's just third place on Saginaw Bay, and you caught largemouth. Wow.
Yeah. It was.
You scored the points too, huh?
Oh yeah. I actually just checked the points today. I was in 27th before that event, and I moved up to 14th currently. Is where I'm at. 14th place in the points. So it definitely helped me out. 13th.
Let me know. That's impressive, man. That's impressive. I'm going to follow this closely. I'm going to follow this. Wow. Well, all I have to say is congratulations on a job well done, Mr. Martin.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
And also, last but certainly not least, would you like to do any shout outs?
Oh, for sure. First and foremost, like I would say thank God for allowing me to be healthy enough to be able to do something that I love to do, and then my wife, if it wasn't for her and my family and my support system, none of it would be possible, absolutely none of it.
Well, Kevin, that's one thing I say. First of all, you got to have a good relationship with God, but right below that, you have to have a great job and even a greater wife.
Exactly.
If you're missing one of those 3,
it won't work.
You're going to lose. It's worse than that. You're going to lose the bottom 2.
Yeah.
I mean, take it from a guy who's lost it.
Yeah. Yeah. It just it, like I said, we own our own business, and
sure.
And I'm gone, fishing some, and she does not hesitate to take the reins, and it works out really well.
Like the old country song, and I love old country music. She keeps the home fires burning.
That's right. She does do that. Yeah. And they're right there, cheering me on, all the whole deal. It's just a good support system from my family and all my friends. And, you wouldn't have believed all the texts and messages and calls and stuff I was getting. It's really cool to get all that, when I was up there at Saginaw.
That's awesome.
Cheering me on. And then, my sponsors, of course, like my title sponsor is like Illinois Wildlife Connections. And
tell me about them.
So they actually have from Newton, Illinois, and
the home of Lake Newton, man. I've caught some big bass out of there.
Oh yeah, and
big bass. It's a power plant lake.
Oh yeah, for sure. A good friend of mine.
Town with some great little diners. Oh man, I love that place.
Yeah. But a good friend of mine actually runs Illinois Wildlife Connections, and he likes to fish too. So he's all the time fishing out at Lake Newton. But he also farms, and he's got several thousand acres out there that he manages whitetail deer hunting on.
Nice.
I've been
Illinois whitetail. Boy, I tell you, I miss Illinois whitetail. I miss Lake Newton.
Oh yeah.
I go to Lake Newton in the middle of the winter, get you a room and stay there for 3 or 4 days, and
I know it.
And fish in 75 to 85 degree water in the middle of Illinois winter. So much fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's a blast. I love going out there. My wife's always giving me a hard time. She said, "You ain't gonna move out there, are you?" You know? No, I ain't moving out there, but I do like it out there.
I didn't think about that till now.
But no, that's actually they're a big supporter of mine. And Malone's Marine, actually a good friend. Well, Chris Malone, he fishes the National Professional Fishing League with me as well, and that's where I buy all my boats through Malone's Marine, and Phoenix Boats. You know, they're definitely a big help.
Phoenix Boats, the cool thing about that is Phoenix Boats can even make a guy like me look cool. They say that about Harley motorcycles. It's helping big fat ugly guys get chicks since 1954. Well, Phoenix Boats, same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Helping big fat ugly guys, old guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also like my power poles.
There you go.
That was a huge deal for me at Saginaw. I mean, like I said, especially when I was flipping that grass, I would literally pole down, flip a little section, raise my poles up, troll forward, and pole down again.
Power pull down, huh?
Yeah, and then my Lowrance, I use all Lowrance electronics and trolling motor. That Ghost is a beast. I just put it on there and go. I mean, right through the grass, right through the pads, it didn't matter. That Ghost would really do a good job. So, and like I said, I was flipping the Woo Tungsten, weights, and the Mud Puppy Custom Lures baits, the Big Daddy Buzz baits, and Mercury, my Mercury motor. I've always ran Mercury from day one, of having boats, and I've had good luck out of them. So,
Mercury motors made right there in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a whole circle of different people and companies helps you to make it.
That is so cool. So cool. Well, you know what, Kevin? It certainly was an honor to have you on the show tonight. I had a great time talking to you. We imparted some great information to the folks.
Yes, for sure. And real quick, make sure everybody checks this out. This is going to be a fun deal. This American Bass Club thing. It's
all right. Let's put that on again.
Yeah.
Right down there at the bottom of the screen, guys. AmericanBassClub.com.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Never fails, man. 6 calls every time I do a podcast. Never freaking fails. But anyways, no, I didn't come here to talk negative. But yeah, guys, AmericanBassClub.com.
Yeah.
Kevin, thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Let's Talk Fishing podcast. My name is Jay Angel. I was your host with very special guest, Kevin Martin, professional bass angler from Ohio. Remember, guys, the Let's Talk Fishing podcast brought to you by Grant Rides, American Bass Club, Crusher Lures. And stick around, Kevin. I want to talk to you for 2 minutes afterwards.
Okay.
And guys, have fun this weekend. You only get to do this once.